This when I was in high school. High school. And look, I only lost 2 games in high school, by the way. 2 games. And I remember my coach would always say, we can't walk on the field hoping to win.
Yeah. Expect to win.
We expect to win.
Sure.
It's about how do we want to put our effort and time into it. And it's okay if you blow somebody out. It's okay if you win by 1. But if you expect to win, it's a different mindset that you have. I'm not saying that when Matthew Stafford was in Detroit, he probably did not always expect to win. It was a lot harder than you would probably think.
50 years of data are telling him they're probably not going to win. You don't have to be a math whiz to know that that's probably not going to happen.
But I honestly, truly believe that, and I think over the last couple of years, we walk in and we watch this Rams team and we say, yeah, I think they can win. They're going to win today. You know what I mean? Like, there's not many times where you say, wow, I just don't feel it today. Now, when the game starts, our opinions can change.
Yeah, you're going to have some
they
days.
don't have it. Yeah.
You're going to have some days.
But we expect for this team to always win just because of the culture that Sean McVay has made and has built since he's been here.
You know what else has changed, Kirk? Okay. The quarterback has changed. You know, we got some new uniforms that came in last year. You got a new stadium that people are going to get to see for the first time this year, even though they played in it last year. Look around. Remember the first couple of times you were out here? It was almost like people kind of looking like, hey, what's going on out here? Like, the Rams? Oh, okay, cool. Then kind of you look around, people are geared up.
Yeah.
People are geared up in the new stuff. They got the new logo, and they are as enthusiastic as I've ever seen anybody at this point in the season, where it's not just a curiosity. It's a let's get this thing started so we can start playing games, so we can get to the playoffs, so we can get to the Super Bowl. The excitement level from the fans is palpably different than it's been in the past.
I'm not going to lie to you. This is probably the most packed I've ever seen it here.
Yeah.
And we've been coming here for the last, 5 seasons?
6 years,
This is our 6th year coming here.
Yeah.
This is the most fans I've ever seen. I mean, there is not a seat left in the house. There's standing room only. Beer lines are long, so I know it's a lot of people here. But at the same time, too, I think we all realize that we missed football last year. Not being around it. It's one thing to watch it and see it on television, but to see it in person, to be around it, to hear the snap of the pads, to hear the ball flying through the air, to hear the celebration, to see the guys working, that's why everybody's here, because we missed that opportunity last year, and nobody wants to miss that opportunity this year.
You know, it's so funny because, look, all sport, I don't care what, even golf, right? If you put people in the golf on the golf course in the stadium, it makes it infinitely better.
Absolutely.
But I don't know if any sport was impacted as much as football in empty stadiums because it's so emotional, because it's such an emotion-based sport where you can get hype from the crowd. You can get hype from your teammates who make a big hit, the crowd. So that all those things, when you're playing in a kind of a vacuum like you had to play in almost all last year, if you couldn't find it inside yourself, it wasn't going to happen. You weren't going to get it from anywhere else. I think the players, I would imagine, too, Kirk, have to be incredibly excited to be back in front of people.
Yeah, I mean, you forget how much the fans are needed at every game. You forget until they're not there.
Right.
That was the first thing that, last year you asked the players, hey, what's different? He's like, the fans. Like, you can go out there and make a play and hear a pin drop, right? But yet when you have fans, when you make a big play. You know when the fans are getting – when the momentum
We had more
is starting to
delayed
shift.
mics, boom mics, because you could hear the players dropping things they shouldn't drop on TV in every single game. There's nobody in the stands and there's nothing to drown it out.
Yeah, you could hear the choice words on the field last year. But
son of a gun.
Yeah. But honestly, too, that was also an advantage. That was used by a lot of quarterbacks.
Sure.
You saw quarterbacks use that snap count and things like that. It's a great catch there by Robert Woods. Good to see him back.
He's all right.
Yeah. Looking like the old college Robert Woods wearing that number 2
here. Comes Cooper Kupp right behind him.
Yeah, so remember last year we had to get used to Cooper Kupp wearing number 10. Now watching number 2 with Robert Woods. So I'm getting used to seeing Jalen Ramsey here to my right with the number 5 on.
Yep.
It's going
Aaron
to –
Donald's still 99. We don't have to readjust on that one. He's still there.
He wears his Madden rating, right? That's what I always say.
Got 2 99s this year. Jalen Ramsey Club 99 this year as well. Okay, here you go.
Yeah.
Your highest Madden rating was what? Do you know?
I was in the 90s.
All right.
Yeah, I was like 92, I believe.
All right.
We can look it up. People can Google it. I was a 92, 93, I believe. And
were you checking every year?
Yeah, always. Always. When Madden comes out, that's all you want to do. I mean, you want to check and see what your Madden rating is. That's just part of training camp, too. It's fun. We get back when you guys have a little time down to yourself. You play video games, card games, and that's what you're all doing here right now, watching these guys. They practice. They'll get some time off. But at the same time, man, it's always fun to have a little one-up on one of your fellow teammates.
Nah, I don't know nothing about that. I know nothing about it. We're live from Rams training camp, driven by your Southern California Hyundai dealers. Get the Hyundai you've always wanted. It's your journey. Own it. Kirk Morrison, Travis Rodgers here. We're going to talk about Kirk coming up next. What is this point in training camp like for the players? What are you trying to get done if you're Sean McVay? What are you trying to get done if you're Matthew Stafford? That's coming up next. We are live from Rams training camp at UCI on 710 ESPN.
Hi, this is Sean McVay of your
Up and on. football.
710 ESPN.
Once again, Travis Rodgers and Kirk Morrison.
So, Kirk, to our immediate left, we've got the offense out there working on some stuff, and it's hard not to just go right to where I think a lot of Rams fans' eyes are going to go to the start of the season is number 9 over there, Matthew Stafford, their new quarterback.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about expectations for the team at large. Let's be specific about what we're expecting from him, both in the short term and in the long term, because typically you come to a new team, there's a little bit, I got to learn the language, I got to learn the plays, I got to learn the culture of the team and all these things. And you're coming in, you have new teammates and all the things that come along with that. It doesn't seem like he's being afforded the, hey, welcome to a new team. It's like, yeah, cool, now let's go win the Super Bowl. There's absolutely no on-ramp, it seems like. All the pressure landing on him. Is that a fair expectation to put on for a guy, even though he's an experienced player, even though he's a very good player, to drop him in a new team and just expect him to hit the ground at 100 miles an hour?
Yeah, it's very fair because we've seen other guys do it. The guy, especially down in Tampa last year.
Who's he?
He wears number 12. We saw
man.
him go from one organization his entire career, go down to Tampa and win a Super Bowl right away. Did it happen right away in terms of the chemistry? No, it took some time, but they found a way to get in and got it going toward the end of the season, and obviously you saw it took them all the way to a Super Bowl. I think it's the same thing for Matthew Stafford as well. He's been in Detroit for 12 seasons. He's come now to the Rams, and they're saying, you don't have time to wait. This isn't a rookie quarterback.
It's not.
This isn't what they just drafted. He's not a guy in his second year with a new – no. You're a guy that can come in, and it doesn't matter what the offense is. You just throw him out there. That's just what it is. He's been in different offenses. He's been with different head coaches. He is one of those guys, it doesn't matter. He's offenseless, meaning that it doesn't matter. Just throw him out there. He'll find a way to learn it, make the plays that are needed. And I think that's the expectation that he comes in with that, look, I don't have to teach you football.
Yeah.
I don't have to. You know football. I don't have to teach it to you.
Can I? And I don't. I really. I'm gonna make a promise to you right now. It's the first day we've done this, and I'm gonna promise to try to not constantly make the comparison to Jared Goff.
But
I'm really not gonna try to do that.
But that's all we have, though.
But that's all we have. That's exactly right.
Hey.
So what I'm looking forward to, because the challenge with Jared Goff was always, Kirk, we just saw in Week 7 the exact same thing we saw in Week 4. We just saw in Week 9 the same thing we saw in Week 7 and Week 4. And then he played pretty well for a week or two, and then right back to where you started. And it just seemed like it was the same mistakes over and over again.
Correct.
Of all of my optimism for this group, I think that's the thing that makes me most optimistic, which is you don't get the sense that this is the guy that's going to make the same mistake 200 times in a row, that he might make it once,
right?
And it's like, oh, okay, that doesn't work. It can't go over there. It needs to go over there. And then all of a sudden you start to just really open things up because you have to stop managing against the one big mistake that always felt like was hanging over this team.
The one thing about Matthew Stafford is that he plays with great expectation. Anticipation.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. His anticipation at the line of scrimmage is what makes him one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL, because he knows that I've got different things or different tools in my tool belt that I can go to. If I come up and I see the defense lined up in a different formation, I'm able to engage a different play. I can turn and say, you know what, instead of doing this, let's go do this. Where I felt that at times there's been a situation where
they break that huddle, they're doing what they're doing.
That's what Jared Goff was able to do. He would run the play that was called. Sometimes you need a quarterback that can come veto that, okay? Say, hey, we're not going to do that. We're going to do this. That is actually, I think, one of the – honestly, Travis, I think it's one of the questions I have about this offense, about the marriage of